Welcome back to the Deep Dive. We've sorted through the sources to bring you a full sports roundup for the Nordonia Knights, covering all the action from September 13th right through to the 19th.
Yeah.
And we're not just, reading off scores. We're looking for the story behind them, the dominance, sure, but also the tough lessons and the resilience shown.
Exactly. This week really gives us a perfect snapshot of competitive balance, doesn't
Yeah.
it? You've got some teams absolutely hitting their stride,
Right.
and the others are, really battling through some tough league schedules. It shows success looks different sometimes.
Okay, let's jump right into the big one then. Nordonia football. Friday night against Solon. Wow. 48-14.
Yeah, a statement win for sure.
That pushes them to 5-0 overall. They look like the real deal. Huge offensive numbers, too. 460 total yards.
That's right. And Fockled, the QB, looks sharp. 278 yards, 2 touchdowns through the air. Waffam added, 73 on the ground?
Mm-hmm.
But here's the thing that really jumps out, for me at least. It's the discipline. 0 turnovers.
0. That's huge.
It is. And only 6 penalties for 45 yards. When you combine that kind of offensive firepower with that level of clean execution, that's tough to beat in the Suburban League.
That efficiency is definitely a theme. Let's shift to the court volleyball. They had a bit of a split week, but still holding a really strong 10-2 overall record.
Yeah, still very impressive.
Yeah.
They faced a real challenge against Jackson, went down 0-2. But they fought all the way back, forced a 5th set. Addie Littlefield was just immense, 20 kills, came up just short. But that fight...
Shows character, right?
Absolutely. And then, importantly, they didn't dwell on it. They turned right around and swept Stowe Monroe Falls 3-0.
Nice bounce back.
Exactly. Keeps them at 6-1 in the league. That ability to take a tough loss, process it, and immediately reset, that's crucial.
Okay, so from those immediate results, let's look at endurance. Nordonia cross country. They were at that big Boardman Spartan XC Invitational on the 13th.
Yeah, the Boardman Invite is always a tough course, a real test. Good preparation for later this season.
So how'd they do?
Well, Olivia May led the girls, finished a solid 36th place. And for the boys, Ethan Mellett came in 53rd. Good showings in a very competitive field.
And there was more cross-country success later in the week, too, wasn't there? Something about the middle school team.
Oh, yeah, that's a great sign for the future. The middle school boys team actually won the whole thing at the Mentor Invitational on the 18th. Took first place out of, I think, 19 schools.
Wow, that's fantastic depth.
It really is. Shows that the program is building something sustainable there.
Okay, now, let's talk about boys soccer. The sources mentioned they've hit a challenging stretch recently.
Yeah, they have. And look, it happens. They had a couple of really tough results. A 7-1 loss to a very strong Archbishop Hoban team.
Right.
And then a difficult 5-0 conference loss to Twinsburg. That dropped them to 0-4 in the league, which is, undoubtedly tough on the players.
Definitely puts pressure on young athletes. But the sources highlighted something positive, didn't they?
They did. And this is where you see that resilience we talked about. Despite those losses, they came out against Streetsboro on the 18th and put in what was called their most spirited performance all year.
Okay.
They fought hard for a 3-3 draw. And maybe, just as importantly, those 3 goals were a season high offensively.
So finding the net again.
Exactly. It suggests maybe something clicked tactically or just in terms of confidence. That result, that draw, even though it wasn't a win, was described as a much-needed confidence boost.
So that hard-fought point, battling back, scoring goals, you think that maybe means more right now than, say, an easy win earlier might have?
I really do. Earning that point, showing they could score, proving they could compete right to the final whistle after those tough losses. That's massive for morale and development. It shows progress isn't always, a straight line.
Right. Sometimes those tough draws teach you more. So wrapping it up then, a week that really showed everything. Pure dominance from football, solid endurance efforts in cross-country, showing program depth, and real resilience from volleyball and especially boys soccer.
Yeah, the common thread seems to be that competitive spirit, doesn't it? It's there whether a team is 5-0 or, fighting tooth and nail for that first league point like the soccer team did. The effort is clear.
So here's something to think about then. Given what we saw this week, which performance better reveals a team's true character moving forward? Is it the dominant, polished win like football had? Or is it that gritty, hard-fought draw that the soccer team earned?
Interesting question. Something for you to chew on.
Definitely. We'll leave you with that thought. Thanks for tuning in to The Deep Dive. We'll see you next time.